Hey, it's Lowry Smith of Commander Smiths here with Switcheroo. I have two decks, actually four decks that I want to work on, but two commanders. Uh, Isshin here has two different versions, an aggressive version and a defensive version, and I'm going to switch some cards into those decks along with Kalamax. I have two different versions of that. Yay! Thanks for joining, Renshai. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on that first round. But Kalamax has a kind of like just normal instant speed combat trick style deck, and then I also have a Dragon's Approach, and we will look through all four of those decks. I'll start out with Isshin here. I should plug our shit though. We have a podcast that we live record on YouTube every Monday night, for the most part, and then we just finished up opening battle boxes, Brothers War boxes, set boxes, and to see who won. And spoiler, I won. I don't think I have Isshin stacks. It's not what I'm gonna do, Frenchai. I know you're pushing for stacks, so good luck with that. Uh we do a bunch of little videos. Like I said, we have a podcast. Audio comes out on Wednesdays. You can check that out. Generally, we have two games, and then we have a main topic, which ranges from anything and everything. So let's see. Let's look at this first version. Let's see. Okay, the aggressive version. We're gonna go over this one. For Isshin, Isshin is a red, a white, a blue, 3/4. If a creature attacking would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And it's very cool. Can be very aggressive. I know you're trying to have me build a stack deck. It's not for me. It's too slow. Too slow. All right. So looking at in Isshin, I have a bunch of stuff picked out, and we might just run through the deck real quick. And Paul asking for Urbrass to be put in, and that is something that he's pushing for. One thing that I was having issues with in the games that I've played with Isshin, the aggressive version, is I can burn through my deck really quick. So I was figuring that I should put in Bolus's Citadel to kind of just be able to keep up. Chroma's Will is a very good card. I'm just taking it out because I think I have enough protection, and I think the deck is aggressive enough. And so I'd much rather have some really good card draw with Bolus's Citadel, right? And then the next bit I decided to buy Battle Angel of Tyr, which the Myriad triggers twice, and then it has a bunch of combat damage triggers like gain life, draw cards, make treasures, or get draw a card, treasure token, and gain 3 life. So, and then putting that in for Rumor Gatherer, it's a nice aggressive card, and it's just like a pure upgrade, I'd say, in this kind of deck. So that should ramp up this deck quite a bit. And then let's see here. From the 40k decks, Commissar, Savarina, Rain, 2/2. Whenever it attacks, each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of other attacking creatures that would trigger twice. They can sacrifice another creature, gain 2 life, and draw a card. It does a lot, and then just taking out Mardu Shadow Spear, which just like each opponent loses 1 life, triggers twice, is 2. Um, this just does a lot more in this kind of deck. This'll do some work here. So, and that's it for this deck that I think I'm going to switch in. I mean, I still like the idea of Mardu, Shadow Spear, and then Spiteful Rebound. Ashnod was something that I was kind of looking at. The Golden Throne, just to like ramp a bit, and I'm very aggressive in this deck. So if I get ran out of cards, this one's a go wide deck. Yeah, Renshai. And Mishra would be sweet in here, Paul. I totally agree. Did not open it. Adam opened it. And so I'll wait until the card goes down in price. I'll be patient, and that's okay. Erebos just for whenever creatures die, which happens in a token deck. Body count was there for the spectacle because instant speed and being able to um, draw a bunch of cards when somebody wraths your tokens is great. Mox Amber would be good. Adam did just open 2 Mox Ambers in his box. He did. Um, so yeah. Yep. This one just wasn't good enough. I wasn't gonna do that one. Thundering Raiju, it has haste. To use Unquenchable Fury, works awesome in Wolfgar. I'm not sure if I know Unquenchable Fury off the top of my head. Could you could you tell me what the Fury one does real quick? Thunderous Raiju, it's 3/3, enters, put a 1/1 counter on something else. And then whenever Thundering Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control, and then whenever it attacks. So that would take a try. 2 is aura, 2 and a red. Oh, eh, maybe. Deals damage to the player for the amount of cards they have in their hand whenever you attack. I I have that one, but I'm not sure if that's the right one. So we'll see if this one fits in there, the Raiju. And then Graveyard Trespasser is a cool card. When the ETBs are attacks, you remove a creature card and then you gain 1 life. It can flip. And you do the same thing, but it happens twice. So that double triggers. Yes, I do, but that's in the other deck. Um, so these are potentials in there. We'll just look through this deck real quick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a cool card for sure. So Dracuseth deals 20 damage on an attack. It's a crazy card. We're not taking that out anywhere. Let's see here. Lucille is nice removal, and we're kind of removal light in this deck. We more um kind of worry about just going wide and overrunning everybody as fast as possible. So, I don't really wanna get rid of it, but it also has, like, the attack trigger, so somebody has to sacrifice 2 cards. Anguished Unmaking for spot removal, Ruinous Ultimatum for the Wrath. Probably in groupings here. So Chaos Warp for removal, Haliod's Intervention to deal with artifacts and enchantments, Kroxa, when it ETBs or attacks, each player has to discard a card, and if they don't, they lose 3 life. So that triggers twice whenever it attacks. It's kind of a nice deal. It can attack their hand and stuff like that. Generous Gift for removal. Uh, Zeteran Bandit is getting you 2 treasures off the attack. Signet for ramp. Professional Facebreaker. You're going wide. You should be able to get a bunch of tokens off that treasures. Uh, Burkos Party Leader is also double triggers with the treasures. Dockside gets you treasures, and Grim Hireling should also get you plenty of treasures. Talisman, Wayfarer's Bauble, Soul Ring, Talisman, Curse of Opulence will double trigger. Gilded Artisan will also double trigger when Isshin attacks. Another Talisman. Captain Lannery Storm gets you 2 treasures on attack. Sword of the Animist gets you 2 lands on the attack. Now, this one I wasn't super pleased with. Laelia, the Blade Reforged. It has haste, comes in, attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And whenever you exile one or more cards from your library and or graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on Laelia. So she can get big. On her attack, she turns into a 4/4, and you can play 2 cards. You have the potential. It's not draw. You know what I mean? So we could potentially look at that. Archon of Cruelty is crazy. Bunch of draw triggers on its attack. Packed Weapon is pretty cool. Double draws and pumps whatever you're drawing. Um, Fable of the Mirror Breaker does some work because it'll double trigger with the attack. Token with whenever the creature attacks, create 2 treasure tokens in this deck. Seize the Spotlight is pretty great. We'll just keep that in there. It either steals or draws and treasures for you. All right. Skull Clamp is awesome in here. Winona is crazy in here. It puts a ton of creatures into play. Tectonic Giant either has you look at multiple cards or dealing 6 damage on the attack. Knight's Whisper is nice draw. Faithless Looting is cheap draw. Audacious Thief draws you 2 cards on the attack. Esper Sentinel is basic. Tome of Legends also gets you a bunch of draw top. All right. Adeline gets me tokens. Handwear Garrison gets me, double trigger on the tokens. Krenko is double trigger on the tokens. I found that I really liked it at the 3 spot rather than going higher at 4, even though like those Battle Angels are at 4. And I do want to get my Rel from Brothers War, and that's at 4, but they're just doing so much more. So, Anointed Procession gets you a lot of tokens. Double trigger with Mardu Ascendancy and the Veteran Soldier, and Indulge into Excess. It's pretty sweet. And Rabble Rousing will double trigger as well. So you can go wide pretty quick. Dolmen Gate is protection for your creatures that are attacking, so you don't have to worry about it as much. Same thing with Reconnaissance. Lightning Greaves is spot removal. Teferi's protection keeps your tokens around. Grand Crescendo gives everything indestructible. Guardian of Faith also is phasing. Iroas is for the attack. Swiftfoot Boots. Eldrazi Monument gives indestructible. You have so many tokens, you can sacrifice those all day. Path of Bravery doubles the amount of, or for each creature you attack with, you gain a life, but that doubles off the attack trigger. That's kind of weak. It gives +1/+1 if you have more life. I kind of flip this around because this is all I want to do. But there is Extus Auric Overlord, and this is on the attack. Everybody lose 6 life. Plus that's fine. Hellraiser, Campaign of Vengeance, and Brutal Horde Chief double trigger on them losing life and you gaining life for these 2. So that all kind of works. These are probably the 2 weak cards in the deck, but I don't know if I care to change them, because you leave yourself kind of wide open too, so you can get picked on in this deck. Let's see. As long as your life total is greater than or equal to starting life total, creatures you control get +1/+1. This is a lot of life gain. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, you gain life equal to the number of attacking creatures. Yeah, I like that. I think that's enough life gain to justify going in there. So like double triggering, gaining you 10 life, 10 to 20 life on attacking seems like it's going to be helpful. Lelia is questionable. I think I'm not super impressed with these. They're just cheap, and I'd rather have it happen late game. Ashnod is like sacrificing a creature to ramp, but that ramp is for artifacts or abilities, and so that's wrong. That doesn't go in here. Body count, I don't think that needs to be in here either. And so the question ends up being like, this is kind of a card draw off of the combat. This is life gain, which we don't need anymore. We have a handful of things that draws cards. This is also damage. I don't have a lot of, what is that? Uh, Sky Sovereign is really good in vehicles in general with attack triggers, good against board wipes. That's kind of true. That's kind of true. Um, that's not really what I'm going for in this deck. That might be on the defensive one, I guess, or I'm more worried about that kind of stuff. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. If I did that, I'd probably be looking at getting rid of like Dracuseth. But Dracuseth is 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, 3 on attack. So 3 on ETB, 3 on attack. So it'd be 3/3. Start picking stuff off. I think Thundering Raiju goes away. I like the idea of Erebos because it draws me, allows me to sacrifice stuff, potentially kill stuff. I like a little bit of like removal, but this one's solid ramp and a bit of protection on opening up so that like game might not matter nearly as much. Let me pay 2 life if you do draw a card. Um, I think we're getting rid of Lelia. Yeah, I mean, Wolfgar, I like Drakuseth in here though. Like I get to that point where it's later game. All right. I need to make a decision between like solid ramp. It's a sack outlet. I don't care about that sack outlet though. Or Erebus. I'm gonna go with Erebus. I think that could be a nice little bit. Indestructible. Yeah, that should be able to draw me a bunch of cards eventually. All right. Let's still keep this around. Figure it out. But that one is good to go. Quick, simple, easy. Let's go with the defensive version. I'm willing to check this one out as well. All right. I think that's something I wanted in. Oh, might have missed that. All right. Let me get a drink. Just make sure I'm okay with that. All right. Let's move that out of the way. All right, this is the defensive goading version. So let's get a handful of cards here real quick. Let's see the ones that we're putting in out. All right. Planning on putting Geode Rager in. It's landfall, goad, everything of one player's over taunting Kobold, which is just on the attack it goads something. It's just gonna be way more effective when it comes to goading for what I'm trying to be doing. So that's there. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, I don't remember wanting that in there now. Oof. Oof. I think I was forcing Sword of Hours. I don't really want to double the power either. So let's call that a weak card for now. I don't really want that in there now. All right, Slumbering Dragon is 1 red for a 3/3. Whenever it can't attack or block unless it has 5 or more 1/1 counters on it. And then whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, put a 1/1 counter on it. That would double trigger. It continues to get those counters on it. So somebody has to attack you with 3 or more creatures. And it's a big boy at that point. So great defensive card. Makes people not to want to necessarily attack you. I'm excited for that. Um, Shard of the Void Dragon is 7 mana, 7/7 flying. This is from the 40k decks. And then whenever it attacks, each opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent, which would be 2 on the trigger. And then whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, or is put into exile from the battlefield, put 2/1/1 counters on Shard. So if they sacrifice and just replacing Rip Apart out of there, Rip Apart's all right, but Sorcerer Speed is rough, and I'd rather just have on the ability there. And it gets bigger threat. Circle of Flame. Whenever a creature without flying attacks you or a planeswalker you control, it deals 1 damage to that creature, which is really 2. We'll get rid of Seize the Day on this one. Don't really need that in here. It's a lot less Voltron-y than I think I anticipated. So, but Nobody's gonna want to attack me with two toughness creatures. And then Tempered in Solitude, which is probably similar to the Laelia. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So yeah, it's very similar to Laelia. And after kind of like playing it, looking at it, I was kind of like, I don't know if I really care about that. Um, that is a solid question. All right, let's keep that out. Oh, but Akiri is not good. Akiri, I only have like 2 equipment in here after all the switching in and out. So let's go through this. We have we're bringing back those 2, and then we'll relook at this one a little bit. But Shield of the Avatar. If a source would deal damage to an equipped creature, prevent X damage where X is the number of creatures you control. I think this is better in the aggressive version because it just goes so wide, so quick, hard to kill. But I don't have a spot for it. So let's. Is there something loose over there that I actually did put in? Nah, we're fine. We don't need to fuck around with that. All right. So these 2 I think are weak. We can take those out to a degree. All right. Arcane Signet is ramp. Exploroscope is ramp. Sword of the Animus is ramp. We are at Fable Wolfen Talisman, Gilded Artisan, Soul Ring, Bauble, Dockside, Curse of Opulence, Talisman. Put Mana Crypt in here just to be a little bit faster because it's a higher curve than the first one. Shiny Impetus gets me some treasures off opponents attacking. Boros Signet, Mind Stone. Starheim Courser is just to reduce the cost of all of the enchantments that I have in the deck. Wear and Tear for removal. Chaos Warp. Argentum Armor is an equipment that when you attack, you get to destroy something. Any permanent. Vandal Blast is great artifact removal. Spectacular Showdown. Put a double strike counter on target or all creatures on the overload, and then all creatures are goaded. Pretty sweet. Bothersome Quasit. Goaded creatures your opponent's control can't block. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, goad target creature an opponent controls. And it has Menace, so solid in there. And then why the goad is in here for a couple reasons. Vengeful Ancestor. So whenever a goaded creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to its controller, which would be 2 with Isshin in play. Bloodthirst Blade gives goad +2/+0. War's Toll. Things are goaded or people are attacking. It forces other people to attack. It's not necessarily a goad, but it's just forcing people to attack. So that's all right. Disrupt Decorum is goading everybody. Search the premises. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, investigate, which is a clue token, and that's 2 per creature. Kazul will get you. They have to pay 3 if they attack you per creature, or you get an ogre, and it's a double trigger with Isshin in play. Marchesa's Decree. Whenever they attack you, they lose 2 life with Isshin. Same thing with Revenge of Ravens, and same thing with Hissing Miasma. Blood Reckoning. These are all double triggering. Same thing, Orin's Prayers. I'm gaining 2 life per. Emberwild Captain is dealing damage. Faithless Looting is nice, cheap draw. Tome of Legends, very similar to the last deck. So, I still want to have that theme of like the attack triggers and whatnot. Mangara would be great in both, but if 2 people attack you or 2 creatures attack you, you double draw. Cunning Rhetoric. If somebody attacks you, you get to remove 2 cards from their library at the top, and you get to draw a card. Esper Sentinel is also solid. Atali is double triggering and getting to see cards. Elder Brain is looking at a ton of cards, but it's a double wheel when you attack with it. Krazakar is whenever an opponent attacks another one of your opponents, you and that attacking player each draw a card and lose 1 life. Attacking trigger triggers twice. Also, that will start tapping stuff down. Armored Sky Hunter. Look at the top 6 cards when you attack and put an aura or equipment into play. And there are a handful of aura in here as well, so it'll generally hit at least 1 to 2 things on its attack. Sensei's Taunt for draw. Ryu Storm's Edge. So if I attack alone with Isshin, I get 2 attack phases. That's all right for now. Agent of Shadow Thieves is a fantastic card. Isshin would get, indestructible death touch +1/+1 counter twice. Boots, Shielded by Faith. Isshin is indestructible. Blacksmith's skill is to protect him. Thunderous Might will double his power on an attack and then double it again, which is kind of why I like Two-Handed Axe too. Same thing, just an equipment. Great Sword of Tyr will tap down 2 creatures, 2 counters on it. Pretty good. Unquenchable Fury, which is what you were asking for, Paul. Fist of the Demigod gives Isshin +2/+2 first strike and wither. So it's going to be really hard to beneficially block him. Rakshasa, Debaser. You get to steal a bunch of creatures from opponents' graveyards. Enduring Angel is there to double your life total when it flips. It'll flip when you go to 3 or less. And so if you get to attack with it, it goes from 3 to 6, 6 to 12 on the attack. Then Sudden Titan is just bringing stuff back. That all makes sense to me. All right. So thinking about it, I kind of like Two-Handed Axe a little bit more. It allows it to be more aggressive. But Akiri is not good in here. I don't have enough equipment at all. And maybe let's look at those other cards that I got rid of. Because I still don't know if I like Lelia in there. Like, would I rather have that in there than Tempered Solitude? Maybe. Yeah, those don't work here. Not sure if I like any of these as a replacement, other than maybe Tempered Solitude. But there's enough creatures in here that I need to attack with. I don't think I have enough creatures that I want to just constantly be sacking them to. All right, let's reread this a little bit. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target creature from that graveyard. If that creature was exiled this way, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Oh, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Up to 2 target cards from graveyards for each creature exiled this way. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Hate that. That seems like probably a better fit for the other one. Whoa. I don't think it works here. I like it in the other one better though. Let's just protect Isshin. Let's just protect it and go from there. All right, I think that's another deck. I'm cruising for a bruising. Let's see here. Not too bad. Adds another equipment as well. All right. I don't really like that one. All right, what are we doing? I probably want to keep that around. Nope. All right. We'll still keep these 2 around. And eye them up a little bit more. Golden Throne can potentially go somewhere else. So those will all go somewhere. All right. Isshin, done. Rocking and rolling today. All right. Let's read Kalamax here, huh? Let's pull this out too. Get a drink. All right. Kalamax. What's this one? This is going to be the fun one. All right. Kalamax is 1, a green, a blue, a red, 4/4. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery each turn, if Kalamax the Stormsire is tapped, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Whenever you copy an instant spell, put a 1/1 counter on Kalamax. This has been a favorite deck of mine for a long time. Plenty of updates. Oh, plenty of cards that I want to get in somehow. We'll talk about them a little shortly. All right. Let's see here. Try and get some of this stuff in. Boop. All right. All right. All right. So casting instants that draw me a card are nice. So attacking creatures get plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is the number of players being attacked. Then you get to draw a card off that. Putting that in for Windfall, not an instant. Does draw me some cards, but I'd rather have this in there. Happy with that. All right, next one is going to be Fireball Blast. It's an instant. Foretell can do a lot of damage. Strionic Resonator it's I just kind of puts another like +1/+1 counter on them, which generally or copies, I guess. It's only all right. Need a little bit more removal. And Fire Blast, I'd be dealing 10 damage to each opponent and each creature they control instead. I'd rather have one-sided wraths. All right, Repeal is going to be there for just bounce, but just being able to bounce people's tokens and kill it and draw a card off that for 1 blue seems solid. This one, Running Vines, is not a bad card in here. Like destroy artifact, enchantment, draw a card. But I'd rather just have a little bit more flexibility with Repeal. And I can hit anything depending on how much mana I have open. Jaheira's Respite. Search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. It's an instant, and copying that sounds like a lot of fun. So I probably had to attack a higher CMC slot, and that got taken over. All right. Remember to hit that like button. Appreciate it if you're new to the bit. Try and give it a follow too. We're going to start doing giveaways on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000. So any help you can give us would be appreciated. Spellskite is great protection. But adding in Silk Guard, which is technically just 1 green, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures you control, or as equipments and modified creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. So it's 1 green. It copies itself. Kalamax will, basically gain hexproof for 1 green. Then you can add the 1/1 counters to anything if you have more mana open. We'll work from there. Ambitious Assault. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. And then if you control a modified creature, draw a card, which is what Kalamax will be. Blood Frenzy just is +4/+0 and destroy that creature. So I was kind of using that as maybe like when people are attacking other players, you're giving them a good boost and killing 2 of their creatures, but it's not worth it. It ain't worth it. If Kalamax had Trample, it would, because then you give +8/+0 and just have it kind of die. But Victory Chimes. I don't think I want that now. Chromatic Lantern was coming out, and Victory Chimes is going in just because it's like extra mana per turn, because it only happens 1 per turn. So if this untaps it's helping out. Keep on. So we'll see how that goes. It is nice to have Chromatic Lantern though. Um, I am pretty sure Spiral Growth did not make it. That was kind of a screw up. I thought I was in there. So Electric Revelation out, Spiral Growth Spiral in, and I will be happy at that point. Got that. Elminster's Simulacrum. 6 mana, and then for each, it's instant. For each opponent, you create a token that's a copy of up to one target creature that player controls. That can be a lot. Sprout Swarm is just something that always got me some tokens, but it was always really kind of slow. And so it worked nicely. And hopefully this can get me some biggins. Doubling up on it. Then also putting Leer in here, Disciple of the Drowned. Spells can't be countered, which is always nice. And then each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback, and it's equal to their mana cost. Torrential Gearhulk is solid. It's won me games, but this would be as well cheaper and allows me to play more back from the graveyard. So that should be a better fit. And that is what I knew. That was a solid showing. Let's see here. All right. Cards I want to see if I can fit in. There's definitely a handful of them. But Blanca, whenever you target it, it's going to deal 2 damage. It gives +2/+2. So it's potentially like a replacement a little bit for Kalamax. All right, let's see here. That just Chaos Mutation. Instant, exile any number of target creatures controlled by different players. For each creature exiled this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. Put the card into the battlefield, then put the rest on the bottom of the library in a random order. You know what? This might be better in Hinata. Be able to do that red blue, because this is just any number of target creatures controlled by different players. So I wouldn't want to copy that anyway. Yeah, Hinata might like that. Let's see here. I'm not gonna issue that Shaman. 3/3 flyer. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, copy the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn. When you cast it, you may choose new targets for the copy. Does that matter? I don't know if that matters. Probably not. I don't think so. Updraft. I keep on forgetting to get this card, but it's target creature gains flying. Draw a card at the beginning and next end step. Drawing cards is sweet. Dragon Rage Channeler surveils whenever you cast. Mirror Wing Dragon will copy up on stuff, so that's great. Magus of the Red. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature token you control. And then whenever it deals combat damage, put a 3/3. We get enough tokens in here. That could be helpful, though. Urza's Command. Creatures you control don't control get -2/-0. Create a tapped Power Stone token. Create a tapped for that. Now that I know remember what a Power Stone token is, I'm gonna say this doesn't work here. Vesuvian Diplomacy. Whenever you cast a spell that targets only a single target or creatures you control, create a token that's a copy of that artifact or a creature, except it's not legendary. Dope. All right. Let's see here. Not too bad. We'll go through the deck, see what fits in. Hopefully something. I should get like Zada as well. Zada somewhere. I'll probably fit that in later. I don't need to go looking for that. All right, Sakashima is copying Kalamax. Sakashima is copying Kalamax. That's pretty nice there for that reason. Ral will deal a bunch of damage even for the copies. It scries one. It does tend to be maybe a little slow, but I think it's probably better than Blanca in a general sense. Yeah, probably. Beast Within, Chaos Warp for the removal. Brazen Borrower is nice as an instant and just a flyer. Um, yeah. Magma Opus is nice, but is it something that I like? High damage to any target. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, the rest on the bottom. So 5 damage, kind of draw a card, 5 damage, draw a card, or the treasure. I like the treasure bit, but that can be a lot of mana here when I want to be doing multiple. These might not fit in here anymore. Chandra's Ignition is fantastic. Artifact Mutation gets me some creature tokens. Electrostatic Field, Thermo Alchemist. I don't know if I necessarily like them here anymore. Narset's Reversal is okay with me. These might, just because I want them, that to be like, that's a feather thing. That's a thing that feather does for me. Give it, give it, give them their own feeling. Arachnogenesis creates a bunch of tokens. Veilstone Amulet is nice protection. Same thing with Veil of Summer and Expiring Call. Flusterstorm is nice protection. Yeah, Boots, Surge to Victory. If I don't have these two, I don't want Surge. Viren is great copying. Same thing with Twinning Staff. Berserk. Kalamax can get quite big and knock somebody out. Fist of Flame. That's very good. Same thing with Shadow Rift. It gives Shadow and draw a card. Wild Size is +2/+2. Trample, draw a card. Leap. Same thing with Updraft. Archmage Emeritus. Court of Calling is really nice in here. Copying that. Expansion Explosion is nice. Rash Me is nice. Burning Prophet might be okay. I think that's gonna go somewhere else. I like Burning Prophet. Commence the End Game is sweet. Sorcerer class is sweet. Thrill Possibility is great. Prismari Command. Harrow. Roiling Regrowth. I don't have anything that could really replace that. It's aight. Not nearly as good as Harrow in this situation. Farseek, Soul Ring, Right, Llanowar Scout. Road is instant, getting basics. Bear Umbra is nice to untap lands. Birds of Paradise, Dockside, Wilderness, Wreck. Nature's Lore, Still Kill, Dude. Nexus of Fate and Seed Time for those extra turns. All right. I don't hate it. All right, so I think I want to put in like Dragon Rage Channeler here. I'm not going to be able to block or anything, but it should move me through the deck. And then updraft for Thermal Alchemist. And then the question ends up being like, I have these 3. Do I want these 3 in? I think Blanca's out at this point. I don't think I'm targeting enough. He's great on his own. He's crazy good on his own. You want to build him? Build him. He's sweet. Number 2 built him, and it's number 1 enemy when he plays it. So, let's see here. I think I still want to go get Zada, but I think I want to. Like I'm saying that Blanca's not going to get targeted enough. Whenever you cast a spell that only targets a single artifact or creature you control. All right, let's figure out how many only targets. Bear Umbra. Um, I mean, technically, what could I do? I mean, technically, I can aim that at. It wouldn't kill it. Leap up. That would work. That. Mm. Let's see here. That is only a target. It die right away, but creatures you control. X target creatures. And so I could technically target that. Eat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I like the idea of Mirror Wing. I'd have to see how many tokens actually appear. I like the idea of Magnus. And maybe Vesuvian Diplomacy doesn't quite work here. And then I go get Zada. Is that what I could do? I think I'm all right with that. Magma Opus is quite a good card. But being able to cantrip off of every creature that you have is also pretty sweet. And I'm curious about Magnus. Like, I think it's instantly going to just reduce all my cards, you know, my instants and sorceries down to 1. If I have enough token makers. And if I don't, I'd have to figure that out. So, updraft should be good. There we go. And I'll check my curve and how everything's going to match out later. All right, let's see. Let's go get Zada. Let's see. Let's find Zada, hopefully. Hopefully it's in the stack. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yay, I found it. All right. That should be nice enough. It's basically you drop that, drop an instant, draw 5 cards or whatever, and that makes a bunch of copies for Kalamax to get off of or get to trigger off of. All right. I think I'm happy with that. All right, let's go with the Dragon's Approach version. Let's see if we can add some cards into that. All right. Let's see here. All right. Is there anything that I really want to keep there? Not really. Yeah, that's fine. All right. One last deck. Still under an hour. Not too bad. All right. So this is the Dragon's Approach version. I don't think there's many cards that are going to go in here. All right. You just saw them all. So one thing that I was noticing is I kind of run out of cards. Backdraft Hellkite is just a bit too slow. I kind of liked it because I could go and get it, but I want to more just play a bunch of Dragon's Approach and burn people out. I'm not worried about the like the dragons part, which is I know kind of boring, but there's a lot more cards that are hard to play in this version than just going and getting dragons. I thought I could play Mental Note. I just tend to mill cards that I really like instead of Dragon's Approach, and same thing with the next card. So we'll get rid of Mental Note, add in Curious Homunculus, and that should kind of smooth out some mana stuff. Dragon Rage Channeler, Thought Scour, same thing as Mental Note. I just mill what I want. Always happens. So Dragon's Rage Channeler should allow me to just bin the dragon's approaches. And hopefully that works. Like Harness the Storm. I still like Chandra's Incinerator in there, but whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast target card with the same name as the spell from your graveyard. So you're like double casting your Dragon's Approach cards from your hand and your graveyard. And Incinerator is fantastic in Dragon's Approach decks. Is just trying to play a card that you can't play in Commander very often. And then Thrumming Stone. Immolating Glare or Gyre is again a removal card. And I'm not worried about that. So Thrumming Stone in, trying to get as many Dragon's Approach as I can and just kind of keep going off. All right, let's see here if there's anything that even works. Bonus round for doubling up, like on that going off turn. And then also Cryptolith Right is a nice way of just being able to tap creatures for mana and tapping Kalamax down that way too. So Archmage is drawing me. Prismatic Command is a draw 2, discard 2 instant is nice. Court of Calling goes and gets me Div Mizzet and Archmage, and it works. Sorcerer Glass is similar to Right. Consider, look at the top card of your library. You may put that onto your graveyard. Draw a card. Frantic Search. I'd much rather loot than do like the blind mill. That's been painful. Vadric, Astral Archmage. 3 mana versus 2, but this reduces the cost, but I gotta deal with like night and day and shit like that. I don't know if I care about that. Looting. Is it Charm as a loot? No Spine Dragon is not bad for drawing more cards if you need that. Pulse of the Crit is draw 2, discard 1 if you have less cards. Put it back in your hand. Careful Study. Spiral, Growth Spiral. Burgi is mana. Mana. Man. All right. Dockside. Barrel. Storm Killing is great. Goblin. Electromancer. Locket of Yesterdays. This is another one of those that just is great in here. Ruby Medallion. Nature's Lore. 3 visits. Earthcraft. Very reason why I want Cryptolith Right in here. Nantucket Shrine gets me a bunch of squirrels. Another one that you just can't play anywhere else. Mizzix's Mastery is great, playing everything from the yard. Spellweaver's Helix, another one you can't play anywhere else. Gale is a stud. Thousand Year Storm, Pyromancer's Ascension. Again, another one you can't really play. And then getting into Dragon's Approaches. Is there anything there? All Dragon's Approach. On, I guess, an Electric Revelation. I'm okay with that. Am I okay with that? I don't think I had like dramatic. I think I'd rather have that. Draw 2 cards, discard 1. I don't think I had that in here. All right, again, going to the red. I don't think bonus round makes it. And I think I'm going to put Cryptolith right in over Vadrik here. So just being able to tap a lot of those support creatures, hopefully. All right, let's see here. Bada bing. Bada boom. All right. We are just looking for a little bit of cheap card draw. Move us through some stuff. Nope. The Thrill of Possibilities. That's what I'm looking for. Thrill of Possibilities is really good being copied because you don't have to re-discard a card. So hopefully I have it in here. Otherwise, that will be disappointing. I guess we could do that one too. Thrill of Possibilities. There we go. All collapsed. All right. I think we'll put Thrill of Possibilities in there over Electric Revelation. Just being cheaper, even though I can cast from the graveyard and plenty of discard in here and stuff like that. But just need to get there, right? All right. I think, woo, under an hour. Pat on my back, right? So anybody and everybody that came out, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got to enjoy seeing the decks, how some of them were built, which way they're going at this point. Remember, give a like, sub if you have not, and we do a bunch of other stuff. So subbing is very beneficial. But all right. Thank you so much. Bye. Sega.